Well, let me walk you guys through my public speaking journey. I am known with many names. I'm a content creator. I'm founder of an English center. Some people call me ingenious because because I graduated high school at 16 and went abroad to study all that. But in terms of public speaking, this is my story. I started public speaking when I was 17, and this is me. When I was 17, much younger, my hair was, I had more hair. And well, that's me. And why? Why did I come on stage if I was an ordinary student? The truth was, I was not. I was a person of modest fame at the time. And I was invited on stage because people think that content creators would do well on stage. But unfortunately, I did not. I sucked at it. I was really bad at it. But then after that, I got more opportunities to come on stage, to talk in front of people. And let me share with you this fact. I used to be a chemistry major, which means that my field of interest is limited to chemical problems and maths. Boring, I know. So when I had the opportunity to go on stage, then I was really awkward. But like I have more opportunity because of my modest fame. And this is me at my university giving the guide in the orientation day when I was still a freshman. Now imagine this, you are a freshman and you will orientate other freshmen, which is not great because I barely know the location of the classroom, right? At the end of my freshman year, I had the biggest stage yet. I came on stage, 1,500 people, like straight looking at me. Many of them come because of like they have like scores, but well, hit a crowd of 1,500 people, and I was like, oh. But well, the first moment that I realized this, so this is my little breakthrough right here. I make money from public speaking. I'm a practical person, and from my experience at an economic school, I got invited to become an instructor for content creation when I was 19, during my freshman year too. It was an eventful year. This was me when I was showing the salespeople at a leading pharmaceutical company how to film and how to practically make content because TikTok Shop was penetrating into the Vietnamese market. And a lot of people came back and 2x or 3x their affiliate income. And that was when I realized that not only can make money from public speaking, but others can also benefit from my public speaking. I've always known that public speaking delivers value. So in this picture, I show my fellow classmates how to navigate into the lecture hall, into the restrooms, into all sorts of things. Where is the English zone? Where's the Vietnamese zone, for example? And this was me showing the students, fellow students, how to study effectively so that I can implement into their own lives. But, you know, this was the moment that broke it to me that, okay, this is something that you can live with. I teach daily as my part-time job at the time was to become a teacher. I taught in the university entrance exam, as well as the IELTS. I prepare students for the IELTS as well as the SAT. I teach daily with a class of around 20 to 25 students at a time, daily, and with different crowds. So that's actually the best crowd where you can train your public speaking skill in familiar people, because they judge less. So I know the ins and outs of speaking in public. about the pressure and how to handle it, how to mitigate it. And sometimes what I just do is to just imagine the audience was not there and I was just giving a performance. That's the tip, but like, let's continue, get back on track with my story, right? More and more research presentation came. And this was me during my last year in university. And you can see the T right there, the little T right there, it is a TED simulation event. And the breakthrough moment in my public speaking career was that, a TED event. This is not my first rodeo, but like when I received a TED invitation from UEF, yes, it was me. Hey, every event I go to, it's really memorable in its own way. Okay, so that's enough about me. How can we apply the learning mindset to foster lifelong learning and how to convince people? Because if you think about it, public speaking has the power to influence the mass and to make their life better. So first, I'd like to start with the 8 seconds rule. The 8 second rule states that if you do not captivate your audience in the first 8 seconds, then you lost them. Okay, what does this mean? A lot of them will maybe sitting there, however, they can't listen, but you lost them. Why? Because they're sitting there not because they want to hear your values and to receive your values, but they are sitting there because of they are being courteous. And yeah, that's it. Because it'd be weird to live mid-event. Yeah, that's the sad truth of public speaking. I would also, so how do we keep them? How do we captivate them? And how do we do all that? We need to deliver our message more clearly. How do we do that? Well, this is how not to do it. How not to do it is, you think the answer is just about tips and tricks in public speaking. What does this mean? Well, tips is really superficial, and the tips in public speaking is just the tip of the iceberg. Pardon my pun. I laughed a lot when I thought of it. It's actually about the mindset of public speaking. Why is this? What is this exactly? Mindset is about speaking, and tips is to apply it intentionally. Tips is the tip of the iceberg, while mindset is the foundation for everything that comes after it, the foundation of the iceberg itself. So, tips only help you improve a little, and mindset about speaking is actually the key to unlock the door to influencing people. The first mindset is to focus about serving and not on yourself. We evolutionarily, we evolve to focus on ourselves. Well, at first, when we were pre-puberty, we would be really, we would act a lot, we would think a lot, and we would act it out. However, when we hit puberty, we think that there are cameras constantly pointing at us, and they keep track of our every single movement. Why is that? From an evolutionary standpoint, it helps you to not stand out in a negative way. It helps you to fit in, and it helps you to do what the pack does. However, for public speaking, that is not how we should deal with it. It's actually called the spotlight effect theory. People do not benefit from your display. They benefit from the information that you give out. Hence, we should not focus on our display, but focus on the understandability of our message. Self-focus actually deters people from understanding the message. And this is the work done by Daly et al. Back in the 80s. Care more about the audience ability to perceive your sharing. And you need to speak clearer, you need to articulate your message more, you need to pronounce clearer, and you need to adjust your pace accordingly so that people can keep up, as well as to make your message really memorable, just as lots of speakers today did. The second of all is to ignore the criticisms of people who are not in the arena with us. So those who are in the arena with me today, can I get a round of applause? Thank you, y'all. So these are the people that are still in the arena. What does that mean? The arena, still in the arena. Well, those that are not in the arena, perfectionists often fear criticisms of the people that are not stakeholders in our message and do not essentially benefit from our message, from our sharing. And we should only focus on serving those that can get something from our message, can benefit directly from our thing. Okay, next up, how can we apply this mindset? The way that we can apply this mindset is to use silence on purpose. What does this mean? Cognitively, when you use silence, when you pause, actually the brain, part of the brain repeats the message 20 times in a span of, in a really short span. Span, like that. You need to slow down also. Slowing down, this is research done by Castillo and Berger back in 2023. This research shows that the ideas, the articulation of a slow message actually increase the perceived empathy with those that listen to the message, as well as increase the customer satisfaction. And in our day and age, we call it the information, the knowledge economy, the information, the attention economy. Everybody that listens to us or sees us are our potential customer, correct? Well, I think it is correct anyway. The third, and I think the most important mindset about speaking, is to focus on the one thing. What does this mean? Where is the one thing? How can we get the one thing? The one thing is to be determined by your own. And the one thing is actually, you need to find it. And you need to find an appropriate medium to show it, to showcase it, and to deliver it to people. How can we apply this mindset? The brain, it's really bad at, I'm so sorry. The brain, it's really bad at remembering traits, lists. However, it's really good at remembering stories. As a result, I would encourage you all to, let me get a deep breath. Okay. So how can we apply this mindset? We apply this mindset by finish one thought at a time. I made a mistake of having too many thoughts in my head. Finishing one thought at a time is to make declarative statements. You need to declare first, and then follow it by an explanation, following it further by a specification of the explanation, and then to give evidence for your answer, if applicable, of course, and to link all of that, all of your explanation to the first declaration. And that's the technique of storytelling. The final mindset about speaking is to storytelling. The topic can be dry, but the delivery does not have to be. By showing story, you are practically showing people how to apply this and how it can be seen in the real life. And our brain, it's wired to remember stories better than to remember lists of traits. Well, however, the final question is, where can we apply this? We know all of these mindsets, all three mindsets, and all these 9 tips. But where can we apply this? We can apply this in our daily life. Research shows that public speaking opportunities actually spikes cortisol levels. So, however, it does not need to be. We apply this in our daily lives, in opportunities where we meet lots and lots of people to influence them if we want to.